and welcome to Made with Yiayia. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you guessed from the picture, we are making something very Greek and very traditional, Spanakopita. Absolutely delicious. Let's get cooking. Oppa!
We're going to start with our parsley, chop it up, about 1 cup. Our dill, also 1 cup. Then about 10 to 12 stalks of green onion. It'll be around 2 cups. And 1 whole stalk leek that you chop up, and it should be about 4 cups. I use the whole container of spinach, 312 grams, chop it up, and there you go, all ready.
So we've got all our vegetables beautifully cut up. We do a nice little gentle toss. You can see that they're all beautifully incorporated. Now, what we're going to do, we're gonna add our feta. I love a lot of feta, as you can see. So 3 cups feta. Now for our egg, it's 3 eggs. I have beat 2 of them. The one we want to keep the yolk because that's what we're going to put on top of the pastry dough that we're going to be using. That way it's going to give it a nice golden look, golden color, which makes it really beautiful. And here basically we're just going to add maybe just a teaspoon, not too much milk. And we can put this aside for after when we put it on top of our filo pastry. Our eggs go in. I do not add salt because the feta is salty, but if you think you want it to be more saltier, you can definitely add a little more, some salt to it. We need about maybe 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I mean, I just kind of drizzle it over. You can't have any meal without some type of olive oil incorporated. And of course, my favorite seasoning is oregano. So about a ½ tablespoon, I want to say. All right. A little gentle toss. Make sure everything's incorporated. Now we're going to put this aside and start making our filo. Let's get messy. We're going to start with the filo. Traditionally, it is the thinner filo that you can even do. And if you want to, please, by all means, do that. Every layer you'd have to add butter as you're doing it. We've recently really loved using this puffed pastry. It could be anyone. This is the one that's available in my area. It's the selection. And it's 400 grams. It was in the picture too. So this, it just makes it so absolutely delicious. It flakes up really nice and it's so much easier to do. And mind you, in the future, I will be showing you how to make the traditional filo. That's a whole session in by itself. It's a lot of work, but definitely worth it to know. So let's get started. So of course, we want to have a clean surface. Sprinkle a little bit of flour. Now we're going to need 2 boxes for the size that I'm going to make here. So we sprinkle the surface with some flour. Make sure we sprinkle the top. I've forgotten a few times and it does stick a lot. And a little bit on our rolling pin. Remember to start your oven, preheat it to 380. That way it's ready. So you just roll it out a little bit. I just find less of a mess when I kind of make it on my cutting board. It's a little bit coming apart, but not a big deal. So this is going to be half of the one side. Right. go. So that's about a good size. Like we said, we're gonna do about half. You want it to overlap a little bit so it can come out. That way when you put your spinach mix in, you have nice phyllo all the way around. And we'll be tucking that in after. A really simple way of tucking it in. So I'm gonna continue now with the other side. Okay, so now we're just going to dump all our beautiful mix right in. Oopsie. Like I said, this is going to collapse to basically half the size, so you want it to be overflowing. So you have a good, nice amount in the center. As you can see, everything's incorporated beautifully. Now we're gonna do our top. Sometimes if you don't have too much time to do it all in one day, what I've done many times is actually chop up all our veggies, get everything organized to the point before you add your feta and your eggs and your olive oil. And just put it in the fridge. Cover it and put it in the fridge. That way all that chopping is done the day before. And then you focus on this part the next day. Get it in your oven and your family can enjoy it. There we go. It opens up quite nicely. It's a really nice pastry dough. And our final one. Okay, so there we go. So now all we do is we roll, get the two pieces together, roll, and tuck it in. Roll, and tuck it in. Just follow it all the way around. So now we're going to use that egg yolk that we kept. We mix it a little bit with the milk, like we said, maybe about a teaspoon, a little over a teaspoon, and just put it all on. Now we have it all coated. We need to make some cuts that will allow some of the steam to come out. So basically what I do, because this is a bigger pan, I like to cut this, because these will be our pieces too, so I like to cut it in like 3. So we're gonna make 2 cuts, just the top, not the bottom. There we go. And one more. I'm going to add a little bit of sesame on the one side. You don't have to, but it kind of makes it so much prettier and it'll give it a little bit of an extra crunch. And that's it. Voila. We're going to put it in the oven for about an hour. So I'll see you soon. And here we are. Look at that beautiful golden brown color. It's ready for us. We still leave it to sit for about 10 minutes so it can kind of settle. What I like to do is to actually take it out of the pan. You don't want that bottom to sweat sitting in the hot pan. All right. There we go. Put it right onto the cutting board. Now we need to let it cool. So we're gonna start cutting it now. Just make sure, because ovens vary. This time it was about 45-50 minutes I found at 380. And then your oven might be different. I have a gas stove. So after half hour, keep checking it just to make sure it doesn't get burned, but definitely you want it to be this beautiful golden color. And you can do a little lift. You want it to be a nice golden on the bottom too. So let's start cutting. You can hear that crunch. Beautiful. It smells amazing, guys. Your whole kitchen will smell, your whole house will smell absolutely delicious as this is cooking. So I'm just gonna kind of make pot even here. Cut a few pieces across this row. And here we go. All right, let's see here. Look at that, it's beautiful. That's what you want to see. That's the layer, what it's gonna look like. See how small it got? Big difference, eh? Now, this is something you pick up with your hand and just enjoy it. So, I'm gonna take a bite of this thing. I'm so hungry. Let's see here. Absolutely delicious. The dill, the parsley, the spinach. All the flavors are just coming together. The feta and that crispy, flaky pastry. Absolutely delicious. So, there it is. Spanakopita. You've seen it here on Made with Yiayia. Enjoy, everyone. Oppa!